Welcome to another episode of the Holistic Sister Circle. Today we have Andrea here with us, and Andrea is a certified yoga teacher, CEO and founder of Ganga Moon Yoga Studio and Reiki School in Beamsville, Ontario, Canada, with a BA in psychology from Brock University and a social services diploma from Niagara College. Andrea's work in the social services field, as well as Reiki Master, Brazilian Jiu Jitsu, Qigong, Feng Shui. Oh, I said it. Did I say it right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good. Okay. And meditation practitioner round out her experience. And she is also the author of 3 books. I'm so excited to have you. Not only did we, for those of you all who don't know this, we do a vibe check for every guest before we have them on the show. And one of the things about Andrea that really stood out to me was her energy. Like she is literally just a breath of fresh air. You're going to notice it when I'm talking to her here on the camera. You probably can feel it even now just watching and listening to the show. But it's just such amazing. And she has such an incredible life story. But before we get into all of that, Andrea, is there anything that I left out that you do or that you want to share? Any
Oh,
other
I think you
business?
I think you covered all the bases there. Yeah. I published 3 books in 3 years. I've won 3 book awards, and 2 of my books were bestsellers in the category of yoga and mental health. Also, the book awards were for inspiration in the category of mind, body, soul. So it's an absolute blessing and a gift.
This
Thank
is
you for having me.
amazing. Yes, of course. I'm so excited because I'm like, and I was telling Andrea too, I was like, yeah, I just got certified like as a yoga instructor. Obviously, I'm a newbie, so there's so much that I can learn from you and your practice and everything that you're doing now. And just for our audience as well, and we have beginners who, people who are maybe looking into yoga and just starting out. We also have people who have never done any type of form of yoga, but they follow me on Insta and they see my posts, so they have somewhat of knowledge. And then we have people who actually have been doing it for years. So it's super cool to just see the transition of everybody and the different levels of it that we have. But today's
Mhm.
topic, we really wanted to talk more about, we were talking about this earlier, and really about domestic violence and just wanting to understand what that has really looked like, honestly, after COVID, and what Andrea has really been able to do to help women within this particular battle of trauma. I mean, obviously, we all battle trauma in some way, but this is a very, very intimate topic. And I would just love for you to just share a little bit about why focus here? What was your call
Mhm.
here?
Mhm. So during COVID, what sparked energy inside me and inner fire was hearing that the domestic violence phone calls to the police in my local area went up 60%. That's 60%. And I had known from doing a speech in high school and then again in college that a woman is raped every 3 seconds. It is just a statistic that's out there. And then so turn that into COVID times and me hearing that the domestic violence went up 60%. For myself, I am blessed that I have had some extraordinary experiences in my life, physical abuse, emotional abuse, psychological abuse, rape, sexual assault. Um, and so I also had a gift that I was able to write poetry from the age of 7. And I took the time during COVID and hearing that statistic to hopefully, I put together a book called No Matter How Dark the Stain, Poems and Inspiration for the Woman in Pain. And the whole idea is this: I have written the poetry through all of these experiences that have happened to me, and it helped me be who I am today. And it's a person I love from a person that I really hated going through the trauma. And I think a lot of women in those experiences can relate to that. So what I did was I made the book into 3 sections. And one is the innocence of life. The first chapter of poems is just the innocence of life. You go through life, you don't know that things are going to happen to you. The second part is called That's the Thing About the Heart, It Breaks. And the third part of the book is called Rise of the Goddess. And so essentially, It's not a book that you have to read cover to cover, but if you're feeling pain, you'll go to chapter 2. That's the thing about The Heart It Breaks. And there's poetry in there that gives words for the experiences that we have. Sometimes a woman has Rohypnol put in her drink and has this experience and wakes up shocked. Like, there is no words because you haven't been through that experience. The security blanket of your life is taken out from under you. And so how do you heal from that? There's not many there's not many ways that I found out there. And so I was really proud to have the book out. I thought, who am I to have these words to have healed from this? And then it's on my living room floor in a stack of papers. No, no, no. I believe that the time for women to be sitting at home silent about these things that have happened to them needs to stop. Because if 60% of women are in their homes feeling ashamed, embarrassed, terrified that that's all they are in life, a victim, no, 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 no. We are all children of the same earth. We are all stars. We are all destiny. We are all born with inner potential. That is a truth that I've come to know that cannot be argued. And so, what books am I reading? What songs am I listening to if all of these women are at home quiet? No. The poems in the book are called, one is called Rape, one is called Rohypnol, much against my publisher's dismay. But if I'm quiet and call those poems Sandy Beach, we're in the exact same spot that we've been in. And this is a time, and your show is a time for new stories, new conversations, because this is what's happening, and we need to heal from it now. The days of being quiet haven't gotten us anywhere. So hopefully the book shows that it's never too late to shine your light, and also that the dark parts of your life and the light parts are both love, are both love.
Absolutely. And I kind of want to play devil's advocate here for a second because I do feel like there will be women listening saying, maybe it were easy for you to get out of it. But for
Mhm,
me, I'm still here. I'm still in it. Maybe this is my mainstream, my main source of income. Maybe I don't have not even just the confidence, but the financial means to actually get out of this and to know what to do next.
mhm.
What would you say to someone that may be sharing that?
Me too. Me too. I'm a little girl from a small town. And the path that this led me on and the culture that I watched and the videos I watched led me to holding a steak knife across my wrist to kill myself because after being raped and sexually assaulted and beaten, and what else was there? There was no billboard saying I can rise from this. There's nothing to say you can be raped and you can handle it. There was none of that for me. There was no jobs for me to support that. When I couldn't walk physically and I had migraines so bad that I couldn't take any steps, there was no paycheck for me. There's no social assistance for this kind of thing, for being raped and stuff like and not being able to hold down a job and having to deal with the trauma. There's no paycheck for that. And what did I do? I armed myself. I had a pen and I just had the little voice inside me and I just wrote that little voice on paper. And so if you're stuck and if you don't have means for anything, I don't have means for anything, but there's a voice inside of us. There's a destiny inside of us. Yeah, and it can't be denied. You can deny it, but it's not the truth, and so it will not last, which is the first poem in the book, Sand Foundations. You cannot build a house on sand. You cannot stay in that victim role forever because you're not. You're a seed. You have to consider for a moment that you are a seed. You are not buried. If you are buried, you're a seed. You can grow. If there was times I couldn't walk, I had an autoimmune disease so bad after some pregnancies and failed pregnancies and 7 miscarriages and burying my son, and I couldn't walk. So I crawled to the next step because I had 2 kids I had to pick up. I had to feed them. And so I just said to myself, I just need to be a good mom. I just need to be a good mom. These are things that are free. These are things I didn't have money for. But this is an unwavering belief because I wanted to be a good mom to those kids. And that's what I told myself for a long time. And when I couldn't walk, every joint in my body was swollen. I was like the Michelin man, like this tire man or Pillsbury Doughboy. I was just so blown up and I couldn't take a step. And I would crawl. I would crawl to the kitchen to get food. And that's a quote from Martin Luther King, I think, said it too, or Malcolm X said same thing. If you can't run, you walk. If you can't walk, you crawl. If you can't do anything, you're still like, you still have your heart. You can still say the mantra I said to myself, I just want to be a good mom. You can pray. And I wrote the poems that I wrote that are in this book. I wrote on toilet paper. I wrote on menus that when I was waitressing to try and save money to have things or to eat, to pay rent, I would waitress and save money in a little styrofoam tip cup. And it was pennies and lots of pennies. And I saved every single one of them. And these are little things. There's nothing grand here. There's nothing bigger than the little things. And that's why I tell my story. I don't tell my story because I'm rich and fancy and I'm somewhere. I tell my story because I'm right here with all of you. And there's no difference between me and you. We are interconnected. And so me shining the way that I'm shining through my stuff is the way that you can. And that's where we'll meet on this interconnected web of frequencies where we all thrive, where we all love each other.
Absolutely. And first of all, just thank you for just being so vulnerable and so open, because this is not an easy topic. This is not something that, honestly, we didn't even talk about all of the things that we're talking about right now together, and just so much of the trauma and the hurt and the pain that you went through. And all I could just remember during our conversations was were you talking about your kids and just how,
Mhm.
and I literally could shed a tear right now, but I'm just like, it was just so amazing to see how you were and how you talked about your children, and how at the end of the day, like, that was your why, and that's what kept you moving, that's what kept you going. And, I interviewed a couple of I've interviewed a couple of ladies in the past who have been in toxic relationships, and they were able to get out, and they were able to remarry, and they were able to do all these beautiful things. And some of them have still taken the baggage, the hurt, the
Mhm.
frustration from maybe previous relationships or previous experiences that they had no control over, they just happened to be in that time, take
Mhm.
it over into, I would say, the present or their future at this point, where they're meeting new people, new experiences, but they still have this, almost as like this sunken place of the things that happened in their life, allowing it to move over into this next stage of life. And I would love for you to just share,
Mhm.
do you talk a little bit about that in your books? And what
Mhm.
are some things that women can do just to ensure that, like, yes, it happened, but it doesn't define who you are, and it doesn't mean that it's going to happen again?
Mhm. It's cellular. We are sentient, energetic beings. Whatever's happening, if we're driving down the street and get the finger or the stink eye from someone, we are carrying that with us. This is where I fell in love with yoga, and I continue to fall in love with yoga because we're stretching the thought patterns. We're stretching the body, yes, but we're really stretching the thought patterns, which can help us accept the things that have happened. Like there's this big container now, and we have something to hold our pain. We haven't been told that we can handle hard things. So what if the stories when we were little, the stories of the 70s where you will be raped and you can handle it? Would the numbers be so high? We have to change the stories. We have to know that we're energetic beings, that we carry things, but the same mind that makes that horror story is the same mind that can create a love story out of that experience. And it takes inner work. There's no easy route. There's nothing I've done that is easy. To this day, there's nothing I've done that is easy. To graduate university with a BA in psychology to try and understand half the stuff that happened to me, I had to read every textbook over 3, 4 times and then write it out a little bit just so it would stick in my mind. So my second book, Deeper Days, is every day, just a little bit of that self-inquiry, a little bit of that mental work. And you can get there. This is the same as going to the gym. We are all made the same. It's the same as going to the gym. You do your bicep curl, you don't see anything the one day, but you keep at it. You keep on, you keep going. And that's where the change happens. Just keep going. Hold the belief that you can change. Know that your mind is only talking about the past and from memory, but who you are and what you feel, you can speak a new life into your body, into your cells. You're not changing anything that happened, and you don't have to. You're gorgeous and beautiful just the way you are. There's greatness within you, regardless. And you wouldn't know such love if you didn't know such grief. And you wouldn't know such what's light and good in your life if you don't have that pain. See, it's all in relation. You see the moon because of the sun. And so too it is with the emotion. But we need to be taught this. We need to be taught how our mind works. That everything that runs through the left side of our brain that we question, that we think on, is energy and it expands. But the love, the creativity, the art, the poetry, the music is on the right side. That's why it goes so quickly. This is why you need a mantra in your life. This is why mantra means mind and tra means transportation. You have to transport the goodness into your mind. It won't stay by itself. We don't know how to work our mind. It's the same as I think Sadhguru says about the cell phones. If we all read the instruction booklet of our cell phones, we could do amazing things with our phones. And so too, if you know your mind and how your mind works, we need to get the mind working on our side.
Absolutely. What are your thoughts just about the level of support in the community around this as well? What does that look like? And is this something that you share in your book too?
I think the support of the trauma, you mean, or of healing. It's
Yeah, because
become buzzwords. It's become more open. You have podcasts now, which we didn't have in the 70s. You have podcasts, people talking about this stuff all the time. And it's so important because the new conversations equals new stories in the mind, new thought patterns, new brainwaves, new people, new world. It's energy. It's so important. Our nature is peaceful, love, and stillness. The more stillness you are, the higher the intelligence you have. There's an inner wisdom and inner intelligence inside all of us, but you can't hear it when your mind is chattery. And in yoga, we call that the monkey brain, the monkey mind. And so we use attention on the breath to anchor our thoughts so that we can start to train that. So we can start to feel peace and stillness. Once you feel that, you know, who was it? So I'm thinking of Bono and Martin Luther King. They both. It's like you can take like my body, but you can't take my soul. You can't touch my heart. Once you feel the inner peace within yourself, no one can take it from you. And I wish that for everybody. And it's in everybody. And my story is not like I'm not somewhere above or below. I'm right beside you, not far away. I want to hear from you and help you through these things because that's why I'm here. I was left for dead. I was left on a curb and left for dead, being gang raped at a frat party. The only thing that woke me up was the coolness of the concrete because it was September. It was so cold. That's what made me crawl on the grass, or I could have been dead by now. So I'm not here for me. I'm sharing because we're all in this together. And 60% of women feeling like they're victims and me having healed from it, who am I not to share that would be the question I would ask myself. I don't want to be on camera. I don't think I'm pretty from all the things I've been told in my life. But this is about the heart. This is about something bigger. There's something bigger going on. And women, and we need to hear these stories. We need to share these stories so that other people, I believe that there's burning embers inside all of our souls. And we need these kind of stories, these honest, authentic stories to blow oxygen on those embers, to light the fire that's burning inside all of us. And then we have the songs that they're destined to write, the books they're destined to write. That's the music I want to hear. That's the world I want to live in. When all the women that are scared right now are showing their compassionate side.
wow. And I love that you're sharing this too, because one of the reasons for me even starting the show, it was part of my healing journey. The more that you talk about the experiences that you've been going through, the more that you're sharing with others about, hey, this
Mhm.
may seem a little bit awkward or vulnerable for me, but it doesn't just heal you in that perspective. Like you sharing this with me and with our audience, it doesn't
Mhm.
just continue to heal you, but it also allows the people that you're connecting to to now have an out. And now they feel like, "Oh my gosh, if she can share that and if she can do this and she's doing that, like I can do that too." And now you don't feel alone. Now you actually feel like, "Oh my gosh, like there's someone that's on the
That's
other
the thing.
side."
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the whole
That.
idea. So the very first thing I put in the book of poetry, that's what it's for. I want this on the bedside. If a woman says, "Oh, I was raped, something happened to me at a party, I'm not sure what," I want, no matter how dark this thing, just to be on the doorstep for that lady.
Mm.
Just because here's the thing, the Greeks knew this long time ago. We don't hear enough about mythology, but that's what moved cultures. Poets moved cultures uh, before the Romans and things got to the way they are today. Just to skip specifics because I'm more uh, feeling and energetic. But here's what the Greeks had to say. There's Plato's theory of mimesis, was that all forms of art are imitation. So of life, of an idea, and of reality. And mimesis allows us to explore the relationship with our inner selves, our emotions, beyond what's possible in the real world. So in poetry, a form of mimesis, the words are written at one point in time, read at another point in time, and through this mind to mind, heart to heart experience, the reader finds that he or she is transformed. It's the same thing that you're saying when you're having the conversations. This has been happening. This is what happens. So if so, money or no money, you can heal yourself. You can heal your life. I don't have money in the bank account, but my heart is so full.
Wow. Well, this has been amazing, Andrea. I'm so grateful that we had an opportunity just to share and to spend some quality time with you. Now, for those
Thank
who
you.
are really looking to just be on this path, on this journey with you a little bit more, a little bit deeper, what does that process look like? How can we enter your world? Let us know.
Mm, I love that you said deeper. I honestly, one poem a day softens your heart. My second book, which is bestseller in yoga, is Deeper Days. 365 yoga inspirations for inner calm amidst chaos. If you want to start just something really simple that you can do every day, there's 365 days. Okay. You just open it while you make your coffee, have the book here. Repeat the bottom line. There is sacred power in the ritual of voice. You can read a little bit. This is self inquiry, gets you thinking. Why? Because it's changing your regular thought patterns of, I'm not good enough. I don't think I can do it today. I can't get through the day. Whatever the negative thoughts are, they're from the past and they're old. You have to put in new thoughts. So there's sacred power in the ritual of voice. This is one thing you can do. If you can repeat this line often throughout the day, this is the art of concentration. This is not Andrea Wehlann. This is the sages. This is what people have been practicing daily spiritual practice for decades and decades and decades. And it's always worked. If you can concentrate on one thought, you can concentrate on more than one thought. And in that, you have a little space of peace within you. And from that little space of peace, you are less reactive to society and more creative. And so you can come from a little bit more creative part of yourself. One thought a day. And in this way, you're adding the meaning to your day. So how many times you wake up, look at the phone, and it's like, oh, never mind, check your email, because then, right? But if you wake up and take that 1 minute and just have that one deeper days add meaning to your day, like who you are at the end of the book or at the end of doing spiritual practice every day is a phenomenal version of yourself. And I found that in 1999 in New York City with Marianne Williamson. I found A Course in Miracles, and it's 365 days. And so during COVID, I wrote out my own experiences. Then I refined it and refined it because my yoga studio was closed. So that's where Deeper Days came from. I wrote it, practiced it, and every day you can just do one little thing, just to one thought a day, one poem a day. This
Mm,
is possible. Yeah, you can be exactly who you dream of.
absolutely. Well, thank you just for showing us and sharing with us too that we can do hard things.
You can do hard things.
Do
And the
hard things.
darkness of your life, the dark things and the light things are both love. How could it not be so?
They all
Let's
are
tell this to grade
connected.
fours. Let's tell this to grade four kids.
They're all connected. They all work together for your good at the end of it all.
Nature, so beautiful.
Yeah. Thank you. Now, if anyone wants to just connect with you further, what does that process look like?
Yeah, so I'm on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, Andrea L. Whalen. My last name's tricky to spell. It's Wehlann. You can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and also Gangamoon Yoga. If you punch in Gangamoon Yoga, everything that comes up will be me and my name. My email is gangamoonyoga@gmail.com. Um, yeah, I'm kind of everywhere these days. You can just Google it.
You're like, just Google me, baby.
Just Google it. Yeah, it's easy
Amazing.
to find people these days, and I want to hear from people if something resonates and see what resonates. And it's my dream. I have a journal coming out next that goes with no matter how dark the stain, and the journal is called Shining Light Through Darkness. And it's a blank journal where hopefully I'll have some workshops and things like that where we can just really write out the crux of what's going on and then rewrite the new story that you want to hear. That's as simple as that.
Yeah, that
You're
would
in
be
control.
amazing.
Yeah, because we are in control, but we don't know that we are. So
So true. Well,
yeah,
thank you for this time and thank you for blessing us with your presence today.
I feel the same about you. Thank you.
Queen, thank you so much for tuning in. It truly warms our heart that you're taking the time out of your day to connect with us. If you'd like to connect with our guests further, you can find their information located in the description section of this episode. And if you found this episode helpful, share with another queen and don't forget to connect with the Holistic Sister Circle on Instagram and Facebook. And until next week, stay blessed. Mwah.